Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Hunter the Reckoning, A Time of Monsters. Happy Thursday, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Jerry, as always, provides the perfect recap for last time. An old man broke into our apartment, interrupted our physical activities with a pretty vampire, died, and then started haunting us as a wraith, which, that's important because there was clearly a flag error in the game, which left old man Zheng alive when he clearly wasn't. The game also railroaded us into being nice to some Chinatown hunter gang thingy, and that's also correct, even though, because we didn't have the option to really mess up shit in Chinatown, kicking doors, so to speak. And we were also so smart, we were able to figure out clearly a bad guy was there because of their shoe print. That's how much of a genius, how much of a secret genius we are. I also hope my microphone is working this time. I switched out my scenes in OBS, or my profiles rather, so that I always have this one set for both mic and thing to be on one track, so we don't have an issue where I can't talk. So hopefully it's working, but I guess we'll find out. And also there was an update to the game I noticed earlier this week. Thankfully we were at... I forgot about the shoe investigation. Wonderful. There was an update, so hopefully any other, like, maybe false flag stuff is fixed. And I paused at a good place at a chapter opening, which, you know, even if they update, then I won't lose progress, which is what I try to do, unless the chapter just goes on way too long, which is both good and bad. It gives me sort of a good chunk of time in order to read before my voice gives out, but also sometimes it's real short, and I just have to roll the dice and say, like, well, I have to stop here because, you know, I'll run the risk of losing all my progress, which has happened enough. I don't want to deal with it anymore. Okay. Interlude, right. We're in between chapters 2 and 3. In between the chapters is an interlude, right. You sleep for a long-ass time. That's my favorite amount of time to sleep, is a long-ass. The sun was going up when your last reserves of energy finally burned out and you crashed for good. And by the time you wake up, it's dark again. Someone carried you to a corner of the stage, laid out a makeshift mattress of blankets and foam pads, and even tucked you in. Oh my god. You know who I hope it is? Maybe they felt like they owed it to you after the night you had. Did Will do that for me? Oh my god. But I'm just gonna say it was Will. Even if he's like, I didn't do that, I'm gonna be like, yes you did, I know you did. But the peace of rest only lasts long enough for you to wake up fully to remember the events of the past night and to remember just how deep a world of shit you might be in. I don't know, I think we're fine. I really think we're fine. Hunters rule, vampires drool? It's correct. In this particular instance, that's correct. Last time I was here, it was werewolves rule, and, well, that was really, really werewolf focused. So I guess we could say werewolves rule and wool workers drool, because I think that was the only non-werewolf supernatural in it. That's not true. I did also have a vampire boss, but I don't think I ever met him. So you know the bloodsuckers are meeting somewhere in a few days, and we know when. Mandy sums up as you all sit around the salvage table for an early breakfast an hour later. But we don't know how many of them they'll be, or if they'll be ready for us, or when this whole thing's even going to take place. She shakes her head. Shit, I bet the old man would have known how to fill in these blanks. Don't be so goddamn sure, Will answers, sober for once. Oh, he's sober. Oh my god, he's sober. When we went after blanks, we had the brightest fucking minds on 3 continents trying to figure this shit out. They had satellites, listening devices, paid informers, even these huge servers full of all that personal info you give out every time you run one of those stupid which Game of Thrones character are you quizzes on social media. For all that, they never gave us complete intel. What they did give us was solid, but never full. Even when we were supposed to get the drop on them, hitting them in broad day, drop on them, I think is what that phrase is, hitting them in broad daylight as they slept, there were always surprises. He leans back in his chair. You're never gonna get the full picture with shit like this. Get used to it. Allah. Not kids, I speak French. Then let's focus on what we need, Fleur-de-Lis replies. We need to know where this meeting's taking place, or at least narrow it down enough to be able to start a search. If we can do that, she shrugs, then we can worry about the rest. The others nod. Without a location, you've got nothing. But I looked for shoe prints yesterday. Isn't that helpful? We know it's got to be out of broad daylight, right? That's like the least common denominator to know about vampires, unless we're talking about Twilight vampires. Fleur-de-Lis nods. if we have time which is accurate, then yes, it would have to be somewhere covered unless they want to disintegrate in the sunlight. She frowns. Vampires do disintegrate in sunlight, no? We're not fighting the sparkly kind, are we? Did I not just make that joke? What, did I write this? Only time a blank sparkles is when you hit him with white phosphorus, Will replies as he leans back in his chair. Nah, they'll want to be out of the sun, as far out of the sun as they can, which probably means somewhere hidden deep underground, too. With as many escape routes as possible so they can bug out if they got. A silence falls over the table, one shaded by the question everyone knows, but no one seems to be willing to ask. Where does that leave us? What about Pacific Center? Manny suggests. It's downtown, underground, lots of space, lots of ways to get in and out without even touching the sun. Pacific Center, you ask? That sounds like a mall. It is a mall, Mandy replies, but almost all of it is underground. It links a bunch of SkyTrain stations together, and it's got all kinds of maintenance spaces and the like. As far as venues for a super secret meeting of blood-sucking serial killers goes, it's not a bad pick. That does sound like a good place to start looking, or a good place to get ambushed. References updated, Pacific Center. Oh, I should check my stats. I rarely remember to do this. Oh. Why is my health so low? Oh, because I got beat up by that vamp. Day Drinker with Thin Blood just eating a bag of chips off screen. I know. Day Drinker on Lifelike. My health is really low. I'm really ill. Like, I'm not in a good place. I was wandering around Chinatown all beat up and like, you know, with some internal bleeding and shit. And I have no willpower. That's why I wasn't able to do other things, I think, because I had no willpower. I'm really smart, which is debatable. My desperation's only at 30%, which I guess is fine. It's below 50%. Everyone thinks I'm suspicious. Or do I think everyone is suspicious? Doesn't really matter. Mandy's still not really sure with you. Will's still got his guard up around you. God damn it. The gangs are keeping an eye on you. The locals think you aren't half bad. The Tai Shan Huai are open to further cooperation. I have no money. I have 2 food. This is like fucking Oregon Trail. I have an ID card, a secure place away from the elements, and a spare change of warm clothes. Well, look at me. Winning at life, am I right? Okay. Okay. Going to the mall. Do we want to go to the mall? How do we even search a place that big? I can get a map of the whole complex, Fleur-de-Lis suggests. The blueprints should be online. Then we can split the whole thing into zones and search them one by one. Even a place that big would only take half an hour or an hour to search if we keep moving. Avoid any unwanted attention and keep our eyes peeled. In fact... And what happens when we find him, Gaultier? Will interjects. That's a great brand of cigarettes. What happens when our search takes us right into the middle of a bunch of blanks with 3 times human speed, 3 times human strength, and bullshit black magic wizard powers? You thought about that yet? God, I love him. Fleur-de-Lis falls silent. No, she hadn't thought about that yet, but she's thinking about it now, and so are the rest of you. Look, Mandy begins, her voice sounding almost small in the dark expanse of the old auditorium. We've got a few days before we need to move. It's time we could take to figure shit out, do whatever you need to do to get ready. I need to heal. Get your things in order, do whatever you need to do in case. She doesn't want to finish that sentence. Nobody else around the table does either, but you all know what she was going to say. In case we don't make it back. Here's hoping, kids. As you prepare to get up, you feel a hand on your shoulder. Hey, there's one more thing, Mandy says softly. We're holding something of a memorial for Old Man Chet. You don't have to. He's like right next to me. Can't you see him? I see him. He had a pretty big imprint around here, and he's probably going to be a lot of people there. And she takes a breath. I know we're short on time, but he's the one who got us all together in the first place, and I know he liked you. Yeah, he died for me. I feel like maybe we owe it to him, yeah? You only knew him for a week, but in that short time, he was always trying to help you, always trying to make sure you're okay, even to his very last breath. Maybe you do owe it to him? Nah. We have food. It's really the difference between intelligence and wisdom. Yeah, we party because we have food. It's Oregon Trail, but the buffalo can shoot back and have a grudge. Good morning. The buffalo remembers your sins. That's a great... I might make that my Discord status. The buffalo remembers your sins. That's fantastic. You spend the early hours of the morning, for lack of a better term, getting your shit together. You walk in circles around your room, your socks trudging against the threadbare floor in a monotonous, sluggish pattern as you gather your thoughts and try to put them in order, as you digest the new info you've picked up during your investigation, and during the meeting you've just left. You try to make yourself relax, to breathe, to roll out your shoulders and make your nerves settle, but that proves harder than it sounds. Relaxing is for the weak. Your room just doesn't feel safe anymore. You can't look anywhere without seeing signs of the other night's attack. Even the light of the rainy morning coming through the window offers no reassurance. Every time you look up at it, you get a reminder of how your attacker got in that night. Why did I go back there? Why didn't I just sleep in the theater? It takes maybe 2 or 3 hours before you make yourself stop. All you're doing is moping. None of this is going to make you any safer, any more secure, or any more ready. You can't wait for the thoughts whirring in your head to go away. You have to take action. You need to get out there, gather what resources and tools you can, and get ready for what's coming. I don't have any money for whatever that might be worth. I don't have any money and I'm really injured. I'm limping around everywhere. But at first, you have a funeral to go to. You owe old Zhang a lot by almost any metric. If it weren't for him organizing the others, they would have never been able... they would have never been in a place to save you the first time. If he hadn't been there, he wouldn't have been able to save you the second time. But it's more than just that, too. He was the closest thing you had to a friend out here. Always trying to help you out in any way you could. You doubt that you will be the only one there to pay their respects, but just because you weren't the only one helped doesn't mean your absence won't be noticed. You have to go. This is the game trying to say. Even if it takes away a day you could have used for something else, it's important to be there to pay your respects and to show your fellow vampire hunters that you care, that you're mourning too, that you're one of them now. You can't really skip something like that, can you? Yes, I can. Don't tempt me. This is what I mean. If you're going to give me the option to say no, I'm going to say no because I want to see what will happen if I say no. Now I'm not going. Screw that old man. I'm glad he's dead. Really gave us food once and we're super loyal to him. No, he can't give us food anymore, Jerry. So we're done. They'll miss you. Yeah, whatever. At least that's what they'll tell you the next time they see you. They'll say that they were looking for you there and couldn't find you and that they were worried about you because they expected you there because why wouldn't you be there? They might actually mean it too. That's fine. But at the end of the day, you don't owe them anything. The only person you owe is yourself, and the only way to repay that debt is to spend every minute you can making sure that you survive the week. I like how the story is trying to rationalize why I wouldn't go. That's not going to be something you let slip by the wayside for the sake of comforting people who you've only known for a week. Maybe the others will understand, but honestly, you don't really care if they don't. That's true. I don't care. I don't care. Will won't flirt with me, so I don't care. I need to get myself some food. I have enough food. Okay, I want to pick the food one because it's funny. I really need to get my injuries looked at. I really do. I sincerely do. I'm dying. I'm dying. But I gotta get some food. I can't. I gotta. How could I resist that? I'm hungry. Why? Gabe's just trying to guilt trip us back into the main story. I know, right? You'd think food wouldn't be a top priority at a time like this. Food's always a priority, baby. Especially since you have no idea if you're going to even make it out of this week alive, but you suppose it never hurts to be prepared. True, I need my snacks. True, you still have a reserve of food left, enough that you might want to consider finding a way to store it all, but that doesn't mean you can't use more. It's so stupid. If you have a way to stockpile some now, then there's no point in procrastinating. I'm like a... Especially when you might... I'm like a bear, actually. I need to eat all this for hibernation. The options are still the same. The food bank, if they've got food available. Buying it if you have the money. I don't. I haven't done anything to earn money. Stealing it if you don't mind the possibility and the consequences of getting caught. Dumpster diving if you only have no other option. You just have to pick one. All right, I can't afford to buy food because I don't know why I can't look at the dumpster. Maybe because I'm too injured. I'll try and get something from the food bank. Apparently, you get lucky. Yes. There are only 3 food banks in Downtown Eastside, 3 food banks for nearly 10,000 people. It's not surprising that 2 of them have already been cleaned out by the time you get to them. But the third just got a delivery the day before, which means you get your pick of the selection. And although it might not be exactly fine dining, it's enough basic staples to keep you going for a few days. And at the moment, that's all you need. All I need is a jar of peanut butter and a spoon. I don't even need the spoon. I can use my hand. You have a hard time falling asleep. Yeah, probably because I'm so injured. I'm in a lot of pain. More than once you seem on the verge of it, only to see a shifting shadow or hear a strange sound, something that makes you very awake again. These walls won't keep you safe, you know that now, and if an attack comes, you know you won't be lucky enough to be rescued a third time. But as the night goes on, you become too tired even for fear. Your thoughts finally begin to trail off, your body finally begins to relax out of sheer exhaustion. And the next you know, it's morning. And that's only the beginning. It's not how you intended to spend the day laying in bed. It's just that no matter how hard you try, no matter how much you scream at yourself, you just can't. You've gone through too much these past few days. Your mind just can't take anymore after all the setbacks and suffering. You need time to yourself, time you aren't spending running or fighting or fearing for your life. Intellectually, you know that you'd be safer if you were on your feet, but instinctually, viscerally, subconsciously, all you can do is lie in bed and do your best to rest. And try not to think about the day you're wasting. And snack! We can snack. I need to check up on Will to see if he's okay. I have to do that. I have to. Hi, Vampire Bites. Thank you. If I don't check up on Will, what am I doing? I gotta see if he's okay. He's gonna be mad that I wasn't at the thingy. Memorial service. It's fine. If he had asked me to go personally, if he had come to me and said, please come, I would have gone. You brace yourself as you open the door to Will's storage room. Even from the hallway, you can hear his voice grunting and muttering to himself. It's pretty obvious he's in there, but you have no idea what kind of state he's going to be in. Sure, he seemed more put together these last few days, but you don't know why or what that means. Hey, are you? Almost immediately you stop. You can't quite put your finger on it, but there's something different today. The shelves are all in the same place, nothing seems to have moved, but yeah, the vibes are definitely off. Your shoulders tense as you step a bit closer as Will's strained voice grows louder and clearer. 61, 62. Numbers he's counting up, almost chanting them in a steady rhythm, every one pushed out with a grunt of exertion. And the smell, you recognize it now, not the sharp stink of alcohol, but something saltier, more pungent. Sweat? 67, 68. What is he doing? Sit-ups? You turn down the corner just as everything, oh my god, it goes clear, just as you see Will stripped to the waist, facing down, flat as a board, his feet hooked to the lip of one of the storage shelves. As you watch, he pushes his upper body away from the floor, his back and arms bulging and glistening with sweat. This is mean. As he reaches the apex, oh yeah, does he reach climax of his push-up, and slowly lowers himself down until his forehead is almost touching the smooth concrete. 71? His voice comes out even more strained than before. You can see the vein... Stop. I can see the veins bulging, huh? Surely. Along his arms, the damp puddle under his face where the sweat has dripped onto the floor. He lets out a low, throaty growl. Who wrote this? Whoever wrote this is victimizing me personally. As he pushes himself, I know who wrote this, Paul Wang. As he pushes himself up, you see his entire body seem to clench into a single hard mass, unobstructed by his jacket or even the shirt underneath it. You can't help but stare just a little. We're gonna stare a lot, actually. Stop telling me how much I'm staring. If he's still this fit after 8 years of heavy drinking, you have to wonder just how jacked he used to be when he was in top shape. I don't know, let's close our eyes and think about it. Let's imagine it together. But now those 8 years finally seem to be getting to him. His arms shake as he squeezes out one more push-up and then drops down just a little too quickly. 73, fuck! With a wet and soft thump, Will collapses for... This is mean. They wrote this is mean. Face first onto the concrete. His feet slide off the edge of the shelf and land in a heap at the foot of the storage rack. For a second, all you can hear is his ragged, strained breathing as it settles, smooths out, and begins to calm. This is mean. Gotta hate it when a trash panda just comes into your room and stares at you. He loves it. Here, let me help you up. Is a veiled attempt for me to touch you. I can help myself, just don't call me kid. I can help myself up just fine, kid. He growls as he starts picking himself up. I need the fucking exercise. Stop calling me kid. I will beat you to death. He looks down at the puddle of sweat still soaked into the concrete with exhausted disgust. I used to be able to do 140 of those, 150 on a good day. Now I can barely do half that. He shakes his head bitterly. I've really fallen off the fucking wagon, huh? He grabs a clean towel, at least you hope it's a clean towel, from the back of his chair and wipes himself down. So, had something better to do? What? Shang's memorial. He replies, maybe I missed you because of the crowd and all, but I didn't see you there. I don't have time to dwell on the dead. Fuck, kid, you keep up that kind of edgelord shit, you're gonna end up one of them, Will growls. Out here, people don't lift a finger to help you unless you show you're willing to help them first. Someone dies saving your life, you don't even show up to the funeral, then good fucking luck getting anyone else to ever stick their neck out for you again. He shakes his head. I don't want them to. Shit, and I thought you two were good friends, too. How? Okay. How? We've met twice. Fuck. Does that mean me and my doctor are good friends too? Does that mean me and the immigration officer is me good friends too? Because that's how many times we met. The dead aren't going to get offended, you point out. Right now my focus is on keeping myself alive at the end of the week. Will gives you a sad, hollow chuckle. Yeah, I guess that makes both of us. You shouldn't have left it this late? I don't even know what that means. It's gonna take more than a few days to get you back in shape. Yeah, well, I didn't know I was gonna need to get back in shape until a few days ago, Will replies. You hit him with a flat stare. You're the designated combat specialist in a group of vampire hunters, you point out. You'd think you'd keep yourself in shape because of that alone. The older hunter answers with a bitter chuckle. Yeah, you could think a lot of things, but the truth is, I wasn't really planning ahead much at all until a few days ago. I figured any blank who showed would come after me first, being the big high-threat target and all. So, he shrugs with an almost defiant sense of fatalism. I'd be their first target, and either I'd dust them or they'd dust me, and it wouldn't be my problem anymore. Either way, being in shape for it wasn't going to make my life any easier. So what changed? They didn't come after me, Will answers, his voice strained with a combination of anger and frustration, like a child who's just realized their opponent isn't playing fair. Attractive. They came after you. I don't care what the fuck happens to me, but I'll be fucked if I let one of you get flatlined by a blank because I wasn't fast enough or strong enough or sober enough. He cracks his knuckles, his jaw still clenched in anger. So I'm going to get myself in as good a shape as I can in the time I got, even if it only helps a little, because I might be expendable, but kids like you sure as fuck ain't. But I'm going to punch him in the face. If you need my help, let me know. I mean, look at that. I mean, what is the point? What is the point? You turn your head back out, but before you can, you catch a glimpse of Will's face out of the corner of your eye as it contorts in some kind of indecision, as if he's wrestling with himself, trying to get out some sentence that the rest of him wants to keep buried. Wait, he finally says, his seemingly ever-present front of belligerent nonchalance cracking just a little, just enough to show a glimmer of uncertainty within. If you want to help, there's one thing. Oh my god. What is it? It's that... Will begins, only to stop again, for once seemingly entirely out of words. He sighs again. Listen, kid, I know that I've managed to fuck myself up, and I know, he hesitates again just for a moment, I know it's the drinking that's done most of the damage. If I want to unfuck myself, so quit, you reply, maybe a little more unsympathetically than you should have been. Drinking's the problem, just stop drinking. Yeah. Say that to any alcoholic. You think it was that easy, I wouldn't have done it by now, he chuckles, but even you can see that the look behind his eyes is an expression of pain. This isn't the first time I've tried quitting. It ain't even the fifth, he explains as he sinks into his chair. Every single time it goes the same way. I look at the piece of shit staring back at me in the mirror. I tell it that it ain't gonna live like some kind of animal anymore. I stop drinking for maybe 2, 3, 4 days and I feel okay. Better than okay even. Then what happens? Keeping clean. It's like holding back a tide, you know what I mean? Feels like, I don't know, one of those old movies about Roman legions fighting barbarians or some shit. Oh, something in my eye. Ugh. Shields lock, stay in formation, hold back the screaming horde. All about discipline. But then after a few days, my mind starts wandering. I start thinking about shit. Shit I shouldn't be thinking about. Memories I don't want to remember, faces I don't ever want to see again, and it starts worming its way into my brain. He shakes his head. Sure, I can keep myself distracted for another day, but I know that line of shields is breaking. I know it's only a matter of time before I try to blot out those memories again, and because my brain's been so fucked up from years of this shit, keeps telling me there's only one way of doing it. He waves a hand dejectedly at the crates of booze still sitting on a shelf at the far end of the room. I've tried fighting this thing alone, and I lose every time. This time, I figured I might have a better shot, knowing that I wasn't the only one counting on me. Now I'm not so sure. I don't think I have it in me to beat this thing, at least. He looks up to you. Not alone. I'm sorry, I don't think I can help you. What the hell? I offered to help. What do you need me to do? I don't know. Keep me distracted, maybe? Oh! I'll keep him distracted. Yes! Yes, I can do that for you! Maybe if someone can keep my mind off of it, I won't feel like drinking is the only option to blot it out. So maybe if I had someone to talk to, that'd be easier, you know? Not to think about? Will nods. Yeah, pretty much. If I'm thinking about something else, I'll give you something else to think about. Something I want to think about. Hell, something I'm being forced to think about, then I ain't thinking about the shit I don't want to think about. That makes sense to you? You think you get it. Will wants you to keep his mind off the stuff that's making him think about drinking again. That kind of makes sense, you suppose, although you kind of have to wonder how long you'll have to do it for. Still, if he thinks it'll help, who are you to tell him he's wrong about his own head? Alright, I'm in. Will looks up with a hint of genuine surprise. Sorry, there's something in my eye and it's like causing my eye to water really bad. Oh, I can't read anymore. I read so bad already. With a hint of genuine surprise leaking through his expression. Wait, shit, for real? You nod. Yeah, we need you in the best shape we can get you. The other hunter slumps down in this chair with a sigh of relief. Alright, grab a chair and sit down. If you're gonna be here a while, you might as well be comfortable. Nice. Will shifts in his seat as you pick up one of your own and sit yourself down in front of him. You think he's trying to get comfortable. Judging by the look on his face, it doesn't look like it's working. This will be new territory for the both of you. Oh my god. You don't have to be a doctor of psychology to know that the reason why he hasn't tried to let someone else help him kick the habit is probably because he hasn't trusted anyone else to let them try. The fact that he's bringing you in means either he considers you the closest thing to a friend or that he has to be really desperate. Alright, here goes fucking nothing, he mutters before looking back at you. Hit me. You want me to ask you a question? He shrugs. Sure, why the fuck not? Ask me all the shit you've been wanting to ask me about, he replies, trying his best to look nonchalant. Talk shop, talk gossip, fuck. Talk anything as long as it gets my brain thinking about something other than the past. And how it'd be great if I had a couple shots of rye in me right now. Well, here goes. None of these questions are sexy. Oh god. How'd you get here to Vancouver? What's that story about? Are we actually helping someone? Yeah, I know. I'm surprised too. Will shrugs. I'm just hoping it leads somewhere. If there's no romance in this game at all, I have no idea. I haven't asked anyone. I'll be so sad. Will shrugs. Walked mostly, hitchhiked some, took a bus for some of it. If you were expecting an interesting answer, well, sorry, kid, I ain't got one. I'm going to hit him in the face. You shake your head. No, I mean, why all the way out here? The other hunter sighs. Why the fuck not? My life had just fucking imploded. Everyone I thought I could trust was gone, and I sure as fuck wasn't going to go back to where I grew up. He shakes his head. No, I wanted to get as far away as possible, and without a passport or the ability to survive in the fucking tundra, that meant either going east or west. I flipped a coin, chose west. So you just moved? Just like that? There wasn't like there was a lot holding me back, kid. It wasn't like there was a lot holding me back. Will replies, the team I was on, it was secret, off the books. Nobody was supposed to know we existed. We lived in an off-the-grid facility in the middle of nowhere. All our stuff, food, weapons, clothes, all provided for us from some place we didn't need to know about. All our pay was locked up in some top-secret savings fund to be released when we qualified for our pension. Hell, probably still is. When I left, I just had the clothes on my back, my ID, and that was about it. Wait a sec, you reply, as you work out what in hindsight must be obvious. You crossed the country with no money, no food, no phone, no food? I never said it was easy, he answers. Worked odd jobs to pay my way when I could, though not a lot of those around anymore. Slept in bus shelters, drank from rivers, did some shit I wasn't proud of when working wasn't an option. I want to know those stories. He sighs. I needed to get away, so I did what I had to, until I hit the fucking ocean. That's when the old man... He sighs again as he sits back in his chair. That's when the old man found me. It's his story from there on out. Shame he's not around to tell it anymore. Yep, that's a real shame. There's something you can't quite put your finger on when it comes to Will's story here. Not a lie, just something off. It's not until after he finishes that you realize it. Most people telling a story like this would have been rattled just recounting it. Fleeing across thousands of kilometers with almost nothing is the kind of thing which leaves a mark on most people. But to hear Will tell the tale, it sounds more like a trip to the grocery store than a desperate trek across half the country. What kind of person is capable of just shrugging off the hardship of something like that as if it were nothing? Traumatized people? One tough motherfucker, you bet, but you suppose even the toughest person still breaks down eventually. You wouldn't be here if he didn't. Yes, obvious statements are obvious. Ever so slightly, Will slumps in his chair, his eyes going unfocused for just long enough for you to notice. Hey, are you okay? Yeah, he waves you off. Just a little bit of a headache. Hangover showing up a couple days late. He grits his teeth as he forces himself to sit upright. Don't worry about it. Keep going. Are you sure? I said to fucking worry about it. I love it when he's mean. He replies through clenched teeth, his pain turning to anger. Just keep fucking going. Right. It's not like you have any better options here. So, what are your opinions on the other people in our group? Will sighs. Look, I don't want to shit talk anyone who doesn't deserve it. Torrington helps more people in a week than almost any other person does in their whole lifetimes. And Gaultier, well, she's weird, no way around that. Her head goes places I wouldn't even think of going, but there's no denying she's a real smart kid. They're good people. So why are you describing them as if there's something wrong with them, you ask? They're soft, he scowls. You can tell from how ready they are to trust strangers, how goddamn eager they are to reach out and help people, to stick their own necks out. I know, they've all gone through some bad shit in their lives, but even if they didn't learn their lesson from it. You nod. That makes them liabilities. Will's eyebrow rises in surprise, but only for a moment. Yeah, pretty much, he replies grimly. I know how blanks operate. I know how they fight, and it ain't just with claws and fangs. They'll try to worm their way into your space too, sending disposable human agents to try and infiltrate you, or making you offers you don't want to refuse so you turn coat. I've seen it happen before, but my old unit had countermeasures for that shit. We don't. One misplaced act of trust can bring us all down, and so long as the others place their trust so freely, I can't know if any of them are already compromised or not. Just because they trust more easily doesn't mean they're wide open. Doesn't it? What do you think trust even is? Oh, no, it's a hard question. Pass. Next question. It's letting your guard down around someone, lifting your chin and showing them your throat, because you think they won't be willing to rip it out. If you're willing to trust someone, you're leaving yourself open by definition, and given the kind of monsters we're fighting out here, that's not a luxury any of us have. Okay. You seem to be leaving your guard down around me. I'm just saying. Next. Will raises an eyebrow. Yeah? You've asked me to stay here while you try and get sober, you point out. It'd be hard to think of a time you'd be more vulnerable. But you're letting me sit here in front of you and ask you any question I want. Aren't you worried about that? The other hunter barks a rough laugh. Kid, what makes you think I give a fuck anymore? I've taken my chances. I've made my mistakes. There are a few more mistakes you can make. And I've paid for them. What the fuck does it matter if I live or die anymore? Sure, it'd be nice to go out and do something useful. I wouldn't fucking be trying to clean myself up if it wasn't. But if you pulled out a knife and cut my throat right now, who the fuck would care? Me? He sighs and shakes his head. No, I don't matter anymore. The mistakes I've made make sure of that. All I can do now is make sure they don't make the same ones. The light is starting to shift through the windows now. Morning has turned to afternoon, and despite the cool, rainy breeze coming through the window, Will looks like he's in the middle of the summer heat, still covered in it's the detoxing. Still covered in sweat as he slumps in his chair, his eyes fixed on a point behind you towards the crates of booze stacked up on the shelf on the far side of the room. Why didn't we remove the booze from the room? Are you sure you're okay, you ask? Yeah, I'll be fine, he insists through clenched teeth. Just give me something to think about that ain't how great it'd feel to draw my memories out with a buzz right now. So, why did you leave the Mounties? I don't know. Will answers with a bitter chuckle. You know, if you told me when I'd started on the special response team that I'd won out within a decade, I'd have fucking shit myself laughing at you. Did you like it that much? It was like being a goddamn superhero, he replies with a mix of pride and disgust. We had everything. Training, gear, support, and official permission to kick down as many doors as we needed. The blanks who look so scary to you now, my team and I would have gone through them like a fucking chainsaw through butter. We kicked ass, took names, and left only a fine layer of ash behind as a warning to the next undead motherfucker who thought they could cross us. Then, when the sun came up, we put on our red jackets and our big hats, and everyone smiled at us, shook our hands, took pictures. They might not have known what we did at night, but we were still Mounties, and to tourists and the people from the suburbs who grew up on Sam Steele and Due South and all that bullshit, that meant we might as well have been fucking heroes. I don't know who any of those people are or what that is. He shakes his head wistfully, sadly. It was the most awesome thing I'd ever done for about 3 months. That's how long it took for it to sink in. For what? The fact that we might have felt unstoppable, but we weren't. Will explains. One bad step, one wrong move, and a blank could rip you open like a bag of ketchup chips because we're in Canada. That's about all I know about Canada. Ketchup chips.
We were good at our job, sure. We took down more than we lost, sure, but there was always another monster, and on bad months, we'd barely go a week without losing anyone.
Is that why you left?
Nah.
Will shakes his head.
It hurt, but I sucked it up. We all did. As far as we knew, we were still the bright line against the darkness or some stupid motto bullshit like that. The guys who keep watch to keep everyone else safe. You know, that American fucker that writes self-help books for psychopaths?
I don't know. What?
Yeah, he even showed up once and gave us a whole talk about how we were sheepdogs protecting the rest of the world from the wolves. He fed us that bullshit just like our superiors did, and we believed him. Fuck, if things were different, I'd probably still believe them. I don't... Will, you're losing me. I don't know what you're talking about. How long did you do that for? 7, maybe 8 years, Will shakes his head. Long enough that I should have known better, at least before I finally figured shit out for myself.
Due self can best be described as a good cop, bad cop between the Mountie and an American cop. I'll take your word for it, Jerry. He takes a breath, his voice lowering as he leans forward, almost like he's trying to tell you a secret. Officially, our brief was counterterrorism. If any nosy MP from Ottawa or journalist doing an investigation showed, that's what they told them we were. It gave us all the cover and the security clearance we needed to do our real job and didn't raise too many questions, at least for a while. What happened? As far as I know, someone with too much braid on their epaulets decided that our little counterterrorism squad should actually do some counterterrorism. Will replies. So about 6 years after I joined up, we start getting new missions, different missions. Not hunting blanks, but hunting humans. You feel a nervous shiver go up your spine. You think you know where this is going, and where it's going isn't anywhere pretty. Every time a reserve wanted to protest a pipeline being driven through their territory without permission, or organized a protest to demand clean drinking water, or any time a First Nation tried to get the goddamn treaty rights they were owed, we were there, loaded up as if we were out hunting blanks in the darkness, waiting for the order to open fire, he recounts, staring at his feet. Every time I looked through the scope on an assignment like that, all I saw were the people I grew up with, sitting in the crosshairs. He lets out a sigh and shakes his head with a heavy, long-carried despondency. All this time I'd committed because I thought we were making the world safer for humanity. Then I learned we were making it more dangerous, not for some higher cause or long game, but for an oil company's bottom line, or because some fucking politician doesn't want to look bad in front of the racists who vote for them. Is that when you quit?
Will chuckles.
Will shucks some oysters. Will chuckles, a sound that would have come out as a wail of despair from anyone else.
No, it wasn't. Even then I was too fucking wrapped up in everything to consider it.
So what did you do?
The most stupid thing I could have, he replies. I went to my team.
His shoulders tense, his gut clenches as if preparing to take a body blow.
Some of these guys I'd worked with for years. We'd saved each other's lives 10, 15 times. We were supposed to be close. We were supposed to trust each other, have each other's back. But when I went to them with this shit, they just shrugged, told me that it was part of the job, part of the uniform, and went on with their day.
He slumps down further as if even retelling the story was draining his will to live.
Pedrusky, the guy I worked with the longest, when I told him, he smiled and slapped me on the shoulder. Don't worry about it, Royce. So long as you're wearing the uniform, we know you're one of us, not one of them.
Great. He looks up at you. Oh my God. He looks up at you, face contorted in anguish.
Do you know what it's like to have someone who was supposed to be your brother tell you that the only thing in his head separating you from the people you're supposed to kill on command is a uniform that you take off every night? To have the closest thing to a family you have tell you that your humanity is defined solely by your willingness to point a gun at other people who look like you?
He shakes his head again and keeps shaking it, as if trying to break free of the memories around him. The memories you brought up. I couldn't fucking stay on after that. Not after knowing the guys I'd worked with had been just as happy hunting me as they would have been hunting blanks. His head drops down again, his gaze falling to the floor. I'd given my life to him. I'd given my life, and what the fuck did I get out of it? Nothing. Worse than nothing, the reminder that I'm nothing but a gullible fuck-up, a break room punchline in some station halfway across the country. Every word lands like a blow, like a fresh nail being driven into a coffin. Worthless, worthless, worthless. Context updated. Wilson Rice. Oh, his name's not William, it's Wilson. Wilson Royce. I mean, look, I can't pick these options. I would have picked this one. Shit. How about something else? I hate that. Is it because of the willpower? Is that what it is? Or because, like, or what is it? What is it? I have 2 willpower. Oh, God. Shit. How about something else? No! No! I would have totally been so happy to be like, look, that sucks, bro. What? My life history is too fucking depressing for prime time? Will asks, voice filled with bitter mockery. Guess you should have thought of that before you asked about it. This is so weird. This is so strange. That's rough, buddy. Why would it railroad me into that question? I'm so confused about the grayed out thing. Honestly, I am. Maybe I need to turn on storyteller mode to know. Because I've never turned on storyteller mode ever. But I think I need to. Where's storyteller mode? Oh goodness. No? Is there no storyteller mode here? There is no storyteller mode. Weird. Very strange. Watching every happy memory you've ever had turn into poison overnight, finding out that everyone you ever trusted barely even thinks you're human, having a voice in the back of your head reminding you each time someone thanks you or tries to make friends with you that the last time that happened, they only stomach doing it because of the fucking jacket you wore. He shakes his head, his face filled with self-loathing. You think I started drinking because I liked the taste of booze? Only reason I ever picked it up was because... He stops himself mid-sentence, shakes his head again and sighs. Fuck, you're right. This is getting us nowhere, he finally says, voice despondent. The more I think about it, the closer that crate in the back of the room looks, and the more I wanna... Again, he stops himself. You know what? Just forget it. Forget I said anything. Forget you asked this. There's no point in talking about this any further. Fuck therapy. Shit, maybe he's right. Fuck me, Annie. I don't know what it is. I'm so confused. If there's no storyteller mode, I'm not entirely sure how I can determine what things I can pick and why, what the criteria of it is. I'd love to know. Even in Book of Hungry Names, because I don't remember anything being grayed out in Beast of Glen Caldove, and if I'm wrong about that, I am. And even in Book of Hungry Names, the only times things were grayed out was because I didn't have enough like chiminage with certain spirits, or it was only for like certain, you know, tribes that I wasn't, you know, I wasn't in a tribe yet or whatever it was. So I don't know what that is. I'm very confused. It's starting to get dark now, and it's clear that Will's not doing any better. He's leaning on one arm of his chair, his face pinched in pain. Every so often, his tongue slides around in his mouth as if it were passing around a piece of gum, or trying to seek out one last morsel of food caught in his teeth. His dark hair is slick with sweat, and his eyes seem to go from bulging in their sockets to squinting nearly closed every other minute. It's the only way he can keep them from staring at the crates of booze on the other side of the room. Shit, I don't know if this is working, he says when he catches you staring. Hungry as shit right now. Throat's real dry, too. That's what it's gonna be like. Maybe I'd be in better shape if... Maybe you should. Maybe you should keep drinking. Maybe you should. No. Or, God, Jesus, no. That's the addiction talking. Focus. He nods weakly. Yeah, you're probably right. He forces himself to sit back up, at least for a moment. His shoulders square. He wrestles... Because I would have... Just for the lulz, I would have said, yeah, you should have something to drink. But I've been stuck here listening to him all this time. So, no. This is the sunk cost fallacy. He forces himself to sit back up, at least for the moment. His shoulders square. He wrestles his eyes away from the crates in the back. All right, he says, voice sounding a little stronger, filled with just a little bit more. Let's keep going. Jesus. Do you want to ask me anything, maybe? What are you going to do after all this? No, he replies flatly, without a moment's hesitation. None at all? Will hits you with a flat stare. Look at me, kid. I'm a burnt-out wreck living in an abandoned theater. My family probably don't even know I exist. Everyone I grew up with might as well be on the surface of the fucking moon. The organization I devoted my entire goddamn life to chewed me up and spat me the fuck out. The only people who will so much as talk to me are kids who deserve better. An old man is probably gonna die any day now, and the drug dealer who pretends to like me because I break people's kneecaps real good. I have exactly one useful skill, and every time I try to use it, there's a pretty good chance that it's gonna get me killed. He shakes his head and lets out an explosive breath. Oh, I read the... So no, I ain't got no plans, because if I wanted to be the least bit realistic about it, the only plan I could come up with right now starts and ends with a single phrase. Wait to die. Even a burnt out old wreck could still teach others. There's nothing here that I can... there's no romance in this game, I'm guessing. Or at least none for him. Which is such a bummer. I mean, clearly it would have just been reverse psychology, yeah. Pretty sure the old man has already died unless he's seeing that ghost too. I know. It's weird. It's weird he calls himself an old man so much. It's really strange. He's not that old. I mean, I'm almost 40, so I'm getting a little offended here. And by others, you mean you, right? Will asks. What do you want me to teach you, kid? How to turn away every useful piece of advice you've ever gotten? How to give your life and your loyalty to people who'll toss you out the second you stop being useful to them? How to fuck up your life so hard that the only peace you'll ever find is at the bottom of a bottle? I'm real good at all that shit, but I'm not sure that's what you want to learn. No, that's what I want you to teach me. That's what I'm here for. What about how to fight vampires, you ask? They trained you to do that, didn't they? Yeah, sure thing, kid, Will scoffs bitterly. You just lead me to your firing range and we'll get you qualified on the suppressed MP5 and the level 4A body armor you've definitely got laying around here somewhere. He shakes his head. Don't kid yourself. The shit they train me for ain't gonna fly with the resources we got. There's gotta be something you can teach me, you insist. The night we first met, you beat a vampire to within a centimeter of its life, you point out. Great, Will replies. Step 1, sneak up on a blank with a pipe while he's busy monologuing like a fucking supervillain. 2, beat the shit out of him. Lesson over. Oh my god, I'm in love with him again. Forget everything I said. He lets that hang in the air for a moment, but only for a moment. Fine, he says. Maybe there's some other pointers I could teach you just... He slumps in his chair with a groan, his head resting in the palm of his hand. Just maybe not today. It's dark now, has been for what feels like hours. The storage room is cold, freezing even, but Will's bare chest is still covered with sweat, glistening in the reflected light of the moon. He's in real bad shape now, that's obvious. His eyes are unfocused, his voice is starting to slur. No amount of effort keeps him sitting upright for long. Whether it's the headaches, the memories, or sheer exhaustion that's the culprit, it's pretty clear Will's not going to be able to hold out for much longer. I should be fucking asleep by now, he half growls, half murmurs. That's the one thing I forgot about quitting. It means I can't fucking sleep. There's no way to get around that? Yeah, he replies, his voice hollow, dejected. Just one. He doesn't have to point it out to tell you what he's talking about. Maybe he's thinking about it already, it's hard to tell. But if you don't want him to fall off the wagon again tonight, you're going to need to make him stop thinking about it, which means you need to keep talking. Jesus! Tell us about our enemy! Jesus. I love fighting vampires and Jack Daniels. Yeah, dude has dealt with... you know what? For a guy who complains about monologuing vamps, he's doing an awful lot of monologuing himself. I think he's just... I think it's projection. Will nods and sighs in what almost sounds like a relief. All right, I guess I can do that. You could just ask Gaultier since I gave her the same rundown, but I guess you were trying to keep me distracted, so why the fuck not? He sits forward in his chair just a little and clears his throat. So, blank bodies. We called them that because they never showed up on our heat scanners. Or as you can call them, bloodsuckers, the undead, creatures of the night, vampires. They're fast, they're strong, muscles like oak beams and bones like steel girders. Stab them with a knife, they shrug it off. Try and punch them, they laugh. Anything more than that? If you're looking for the full list, then you're shit out of luck, kid, Will replies. I've hunted blanks who could turn into animals, one who could punch through walls, ones who can mess with your head and make you see shit, turn on your friends, and boil your fucking blood in your veins. They can't all do that. I wouldn't be here if they could, but some of them can, which means you've got to be ready for it. You resist the urge to shudder. Fighting against something who was super strong and super fast was bad enough. Fighting against something with just one of those powers would be worse. Fighting against a group of them? Do we have any advantages here, you ask, dreading the answer? That's one. There's one. All in all, we'll probably have the numbers on them, Will continues. Blanks usually operate alone, and when they do operate in groups, it's always real small ones. The old man thought it was because they don't trust each other that easy, but that they're all too busy playing fuck games with each other. Oh, they're fucking each other, it's true. To organize against us. I call that bullshit. Humans fuck with each other every day, and we still find the time to team up and commit a genocide here and there. He shrugs. I don't really care what the reason is, so long as it gives us at least one edge. But they gotta have weaknesses too, right? You ask? Sunlight, garlic, crosses, holy water, whips, a stake through the heart. You've been watching the wrong kind of movies, kid, the other hunter chuckles. Stake? They'll just paralyze them. Crosses, garlic, holy water? None of that shit so much as slows them down. So what does work? Sunlight works most of the time, Will answers. Bullets too if you shoot them enough with big enough rounds.
Then he leans forward, his eyes gleaming. But 9 times out of 10, the way we did it? Fire, incendiary grenades, flamethrowers, tracer rounds, it don't matter. You so much as throw a lit match at them and they will burn like dry newspaper. They'll burn and scream until there's nothing left but a pile of ash. Behind the layers of weariness and the exhaustion, you just see a glimmer of feral satisfaction. That's how you kill a blank body. Oh, I did it again. Behind the layers of weariness and exhaustion, you just see a glimmer of feral satisfaction. I did it again. I'm bad. Will's words can't help but stick with you, and they can't help but conjure images in your head of a figure almost human as the flames engulf it in a burst of heat and agony oh god, its wails dying slowly as it disintegrates into dust. What a nasty, horrible, painful way to go. Is that foreshadowing for our future? But you don't have any way of inflicting it, not even a blowtorch. Maybe you should try and find one. Just light his breath on fire. You have plenty of Molotov cocktails, just use his booze. It's past midnight now, probably way past midnight. You're having trouble even keeping your eyes open. At this rate, you're going to fall asleep before Will does. And Will still seems very much awake, even if he does seem to be flagging with every passing minute. Flagging? The sheen of sweat over his upper body has long since gone cold, and he lies in his chair almost in a vegetative state, but his eyes are wide open, and every so often a muttered, fuck's sake, or fucking damn it, reminds you that he remains a prisoner of the world of the waking. I don't know who's talking. I never really did thank you, did I? I don't know who's talking. Will's voice sounds weak, almost a croak, but his words are clear enough. I rope you into this chicken shit scheme to get me sober, take up your entire day, probably your entire night too. I make you put up with me rambling about who the fuck knows what, and I don't even thank you. Shit, how's that for being a piece of shit? His arm rises out of his chair and lays itself on your knee. He's touching me. Tell you what. If I'm still on my fucking feet tomorrow, I'll teach you. Fuck, I'll find something to teach you. Proper vampire hunter shit. Probably won't be enough to kill a blank up close, but maybe you can fight him off without bleeding half to death. After the shit I put you through today, it's the least I can do. Takes a second for it to sink in exactly what Will's offering, but when it does, he's offering to give you training, exactly the kind of training you need to fight off the blood-sucking monsters after you. The kind of training which kept him alive for years against an unending stream of the things. The kind of training that could keep you alive too. You can't deny it's a tempting offer. So? When you look down again, Will's eyes aren't open anymore. His chest rises and falls gently, the soft sound of his snoring echoing through the room. Not much you can do now. Will's fast asleep, and after all the trouble it took to get him that way, you're sure as fuck not waking him again. Not tonight. But what about tomorrow? Will's offer to train you might have been given in a half-waking stupor, but he might have also been serious. If he's actually willing to teach you some of the stuff he learned as a professional vampire hunter, then you'd have a serious advantage going forward, especially if you find yourself face to face with a supernaturally strong creature of the night yet again. But that's assuming he was serious, and that he'll be sober and on his feet tomorrow, which is something else to worry about too. Just because he's fallen asleep sober tonight doesn't mean he'll be sober tomorrow, and even if he is sober, it's just as possible that his withdrawal symptoms will be just as bad, or even worse in the morning. But if that's the case, wouldn't you owe it to him to check up on him? The last thing you need is to have spent the whole day and most of the night helping him through kicking his habit, only for him to fall off the wagon again because you weren't there. Yeah, no, I'll be there. There it is. Sorry. I need to see him again tomorrow, especially because I think I'm attracted to him. I have never been so happy in all my life. That one. Achievement. A man after midnight. You've brought yourself into a romance with Will Royce. You couldn't see it because my camera was in the way of the achievement. I'm so happy. I'm dancing in my seat. I'm so excited. Shit, how did this happen? You're still trying to wrap your head around it. To put it lightly, Will Royce is not the kind of person you would have ever considered falling for. Sure, a grizzled ex-cop with a walk-in closet full of skeletons and a whole U-Haul full of baggage might sound appealing in a romance novel. No, it sounds appealing well, shut up. Or something, but in real life, that's a parade float covered about 60 red flags, and none of that's counting the drinking problem. The belligerent paranoia, the need to use the word fuck instead of punctuation, and what you're pretty sure is the worst case of PTSD you've ever seen. And yet, you can't help but feel drawn to something about him, something you want to see more of. And if the best way to do that is to sit by his side as he trains you or bears his heart to you or even just tries to quit drinking while you're in the room, then you can't help but feel like you need to be there. So it looks like you'll be there for better or worse.
I'm so happy.
Well, that's it. We won the game. I don't need to play anymore. I'm gone. I'm good. I got it. Best game. 10 out of 10.
You've grown into the habit of cataloging your resources every morning to make sure nothing's been stolen, and to keep track of what you have left, what you have enough of, and what you might be running short of. And on this gray, rainy morning, you realize that you're going through your food real fast. No! It's nothing to worry about yet. You still have some left, but you might want to get your hands on more sooner rather than later, assuming you survive the week anyway. My food! You arrive in the morning to find Will hunched over in his chair. For a second, you worry that he might have started drinking again after you left, but a moment's glance finds no empty bottles around his feet, and when he looks up at you with a groan, his eyes are bloodshot but clear. Hey, just came by to check on you. Well, here I am, Will replies, spreading his arms wide with something like a grunting stretch. Haven't touched anything except water, in case you hadn't noticed. How are you feeling?
Like boiled shit, kid. Stop calling me kid. He replies flatly. Slept like ass, had fucked up dreams all night. Head still hurts a bit, and some motherfucker in the back of my head keeps trying to pull me toward that crate of booze. Get rid of it. On the other side of the room, telling me that I'm better off just giving in and saving myself the trouble.
And? You ask expectantly.
Ignored that voice all yesterday, he replies with a grim little smile. And he's nowhere near as loud today. I figure if I keep ignoring him, maybe he'll get the message and shut the fuck up. So listen, Will says after a moment. I remember saying some shit last night about offering to train you. You remember me saying that?
Yeah, I do.
Good, then I didn't just imagine it. He pushes himself out of the chair with a groan. For a moment, he seems about to fall back into it, but only for a moment. Before long, he's found his feet and looks as steady as he ever has. More so, even. Well, I said then, I gotta make up for the day you wasted yesterday, helping me fight my demons. I can do that if you want.
What do you mean by that?
You could have spent yesterday preparing for our little excursion we got coming up. Yeah, I could have. Getting gear, dealing with the other things on your plate, maybe getting yourself properly fed and in the right shape for it. Said you spent all day and most of the night sitting in a chair listening to an old drunk ramble. He shakes his head. That time you gave up to help me, that shit was valuable. So I'm willing to help you make up for what you spent.
And what would that entail? You ask, more than a little curious.
You help me fight my demons. I'll teach you to fight yours, he replies. An organized, codified system of close quarters battle. It wasn't designed to fight blanks in particular, but it works real great against them. Trust me, I'd know.
Hold on, you reply. You're telling me you could train me to fight vampires in, what, a day?
No, Will replies flatly, but I could teach you the basics. Everything else, that shit'll require practice. A lot of practice to get right.
Oh my god, we'll spend so much time together. It's crazy.
You'll need to focus on it, probably to the point where you won't be able to commit to anything else in your spare time. I can't promise quick, and I can't promise easy, but I can absolutely promise you that once you get the hang of this, it will give you a fighting chance at the very least.
He looks back at you, eyes bright, any sign of fatigue or pain almost entirely gone.
So you in?
Yeah, I'm in. Like Flynn. We could have, if we could have, or we can give you another reason to drink after we die due to having 1 health left. I know. Isn't that funny? Isn't that hilarious? What a way to go, though. All right. Well, all right. Will steps forward and pushes aside a heavy metal shelf with almost contemptible ease, clearing aside a space as he sinks into a fighting stance. Show me what you got. Nothing. I've got nothing. What you got ends up being a pathetic excuse for anything which might be considered fighting ability. Granted, the first time you go at Will, you hold back a bit, worried you might hurt him. After all, he's still in withdrawal, no matter how well he hides it. Takes you about 3 seconds to realize that was a mistake. The next time you go in as hard as you can, that time you'll last 4 seconds. Every time you go at him, somehow you find yourself on the ground in the space of 2 or 3 breaths. No matter how hard to push, how fast you lunge, you are always tumbling ass over tea kettle faster than you realize it. Nice. The only reason you don't end up hurting yourself as you land on the hard concrete is because Will manages to catch you and set you down gently each time. Which is something you really shouldn't be enjoying as much as you are. No, I'm enjoying it a lot. No, I love it. Sorry, you gasp as you manage to pick yourself back up again. I've never really been much good at working out. Will shakes his head. Doesn't matter, he replies, stepping out of his fighting stance. No matter how strong or how fast you are, Blank's gonna be faster and stronger. The way to win against a motherfucker like that is to use your head, and use that strength and speed against them. Over the next few hours, Will runs you through the basics of how to do just that, to redirect an attacking opponent's momentum, how to make them dissipate their strength, how to make them second guess themselves and lure them into making just the wrong move, how to move with an incoming blow to make it hurt less,
how to get up quickly after getting knocked down. It's enough to make your head spin, but Will proves a surprisingly patient trainer, going through every motion until you get it right, and letting you take your time until you do. He even makes a pretty good effort of ignoring some of these less than platonic looks he catches you sending his way. By sunset, you're exhausted, and you're sore in muscles you didn't even know you had, but you also have a whole new set of moves, with instructions to practice them until you can do them without even thinking about it. Moves that will give you at least some hope in a straight-up fight against the monsters in the dark. It's not a gun, it's not body armor, and it's sure as fuck not night vision goggles, but it's a start. 1 day left! That's the only other thing on your mind right now, that you have 1 day and 1 night left before you and the other hunters head west to deal with whatever's waiting for you there. If you're lucky you prepared properly, I haven't. If things break your way, then it might be enough to bring matters to a head, force a confrontation, which finally defeats your attackers, which finally stops them from coming after you again, which finally makes you safe. But the chances of that happening are 1 in a million, if that. No, if you're lucky, then you might be able to make it out alive to be hunted and pursued for another day, another week, another month, or whoever knows how long your twisted brand of luck holds out. If you're not, you won't be living through the day at all. Either way, you're probably fucked, but that doesn't mean you're not going down without a fight. You have 1 more day, 1 more chance to prepare, 1 more shot to make yourself a harder target, more dangerous enemy, more resilient prey than you'd be otherwise. You're going to make it count. I need to heal my wounds. That's what I'm going to do. Let's ignore the thirsty trash panda. No. Politeness and free healthcare, those are supposed to be the 2 things that prevent Canada from becoming swallowed up by the Americans. You've seen a vanishingly small amount of the former these past few weeks, but the latter? Oh boy, you could really use some of the latter right now. Fortunately, there's a walk-in clinic not far. Unfortunately, the waiting room is packed with patients, which means you have to spend nearly all day sitting among coughing kids, injured construction workers, and one frazzled-looking pale young woman who insists that the planet is... I'm not gonna lie, because I always assume these games are America-centric, and I shouldn't, because I live in Europe. I've lived in Germany for 12 years. I was thinking like, oh, I can't go get my injuries checked out. I don't have any money. But I think that way because I was born in the United States. Yeah. Finally, your name comes up. With a sigh of relief, you walk up to the desk, hoping that your ordeal is finally over. Thankfully, it is. After checking your ID, the receptionist sends you down a hallway to a room with a waiting doctor, an older woman with a soft voice and the most terrifying face you've ever seen. Why? She gets to work with an efficiency born of years of experience, treating a never-ending stream of patients, checking over your injuries with an almost furious dexterity. Within half an hour, you're sent on your way, your cuts freshly disinfected and bandaged, and your bruises treated with antibiotic cream, all courtesy of the government of the province of British Columbia. Obviously, it's not actually free healthcare. Some taxpayer somewhere else is paying for it, yes. But that doesn't mean you can't appreciate it just this once, even if it is only a thing because the government insists. Yeah, I was thinking too, like, not gonna lie. Yeah, I mean, that's honestly the very first thing I thought. I was like I could go get my... Well, let me check my stuff. Yeah, it's better. But yeah, like if you were here in Germany, like as long as you're registered, if you don't have any insurance, you can go to the doctor. They don't have any way to take money from you at the doctor. If you don't have like your insurance card yet because you haven't been registered or whatever, all they do is they'll just hold on to that until you, and then you'll just give it to your insurance later because the doctor will expect to collect money from you, obviously. But it's so rare that people don't have any form of insurance, because even if you're from another part of the EU, you can still give them that card and the insurances will work it out together. I don't know. I don't know. America's its own beast. You wake up with only one thought in your mind. Today's the day. As you wait through the nervous hours of the morning, you can't shake the fact that you don't know if you're going to make it through the next 24 hours alive. Tonight you're going to seek out and face multiple vampires on their ground, something which is almost certainly going to end in a fight where they have the advantage in strength and speed. Every time I play a hunter game, I always think of this line from Supernatural, where one of the guys, I don't know the context because I watched Supernatural so many years ago and it wasn't like a huge thing for me, but it was like, you know who fights monsters? Crazy people. And that's exactly what I feel like. Like, why would you do this? This is insane. A more poetic person might have called the odds against you daunting. You'll settle for the rather more prosaic fucking terrifying. But that doesn't mean you're unprepared either. Over the past week, you've seen how the others fight the darkness. Not really, I haven't visited any of them, but will. You've seen their methods up close. You've even gotten some hands-on training from some of them. You know there are ways to fight back, effective ways, and you have the means to commit to one if you want. Yeah, Will has, that's the only one I have, so. No, I'm gonna carve my own path, not follow someone else's. Seng's face. I mean, I understand why this one is, I understand why these are blanked out. I didn't see Mandy, I didn't see, Fleur-de-Lis's. Seng's dead, so I have just Will's to pick from. So, I guess Will's it is. Will is the right idea, hit the enemy head on and keep hitting them until they're dead. Sounds like something I could do. Achievement, Vampire Puncher. Advance into the Martial Creed. Nice. That wasn't what duh. I wasn't even thinking that's how I was gonna pick my creed, but duh. I should have picked the other one. The others have their approaches, their ways of using their skills, ways that'll get you information, advantages, or ways to keep other people safe, you get it. But at the end of the day, someone has to interface their fist with the enemy's face, and after spending all that time training with Will, you know you want that someone to be you. Sure, you'll never be able to match a vampire in strength or speed or toughness, but that doesn't mean you can't learn to fight them, to defend yourself against them, and to beat the ever-loving shit out of them. Was I Martial Creed in Beast of Glenkildove too? I think I was. I'm pretty sure I was. And if there's anything these past few days have taught you, it's that wiping out those smug fucks head to head is something you're going to enjoy, probably more than anything else in the world. But that's not all you've done this week. I've done all I can. I've made contacts with the Tai Han Shui. Yeah, that's all I've done. I haven't done anything. I was helping my boyfriend detox, alright? So screw off. The Tai Shan Hui aren't exactly friendly, and if you called them allies, they'd probably deny it. But you know they're out there now, and you know that despite all their arrogant posturing, you got the same goals. Maybe they won't be able to help you out today, but the simple fact that you and the others aren't in this fight alone can, you know, whatever. I'm a loser, obviously. I'm not good at any of this. Are you ready for this? That is not a question you can answer even after everything. Sure, you've tried, but what if it isn't enough? It's not. I can tell you right now, nothing that I have done is really prepared me for whatever the hell we're going into. A mall? This is like a zombie level, but instead of zombies, it's vampires. What if this ends up getting you killed? What if? It wouldn't be the first time. What if this ends up getting other people killed? Wouldn't be the first time either. Beast of Glenkildove, Book of Hungry Names. Got myself killed, Beast of Glenkildove. Got other people killed in Book of Hungry Names. Would it be better not to do this? Or would that just be waiting for the inevitable? You shove that out of your head. It's too late to think about that shit now. The decision's been made. Your course has been laid out. Now all you can do is follow it to the end. End of Interlude 2. Yeah, save my game. Wonderful. That's me. Yes. And continue to Act 3, Blood in the Darkness. Well, that could only go well. All right, so I'll be back with Act 3, Blood in the Darkness. We'll see if I survive. Would be hilarious if I finally got to the Will romance and then I just fucking took myself out. Hilarious. I love that for me. Have to stop it here because if there's updates and stuff, that'll just screw everything up and I don't want to do that again. Thank you, everybody. I hope you can join me for tomorrow's stream. I'm trying to get through the story as quickly as possible. I'm not speed running to kill myself. I do always think it's particularly hilarious when I do, though. So I won't be disappointed if I do. I'll try and survive. I don't know. We'll see how my mood is tomorrow. But thank you, everybody, and have an awesome day.